Alright, today we're going to talk about absolute value inequalities. And as you may remember, when we add in the absolute value symbol, we have to consider two different cases. So before I even talk about this first little example that I have here, let's look back to something like this, where we use an equal sign. If we have the absolute value of x, we know that the absolute value means distance from 0. So I would say that x could be 5 or x could be negative 5. So there's always a positive case and a negative case. Alright, and the same is going to be true when we're talking about inequalities. So here's what this looks like when we look at the inequality form. Alright, so we know that we can use, I would say, case 1. Alright, we're just going to take this as is. We're going to take the inside and set it just as is. Okay, so x can be anything less than 5. However, what we're going to find out is that can't be completely true, which means we got to look at case 2. Alright, and the reason that there's a second case here is because if I went as far as, okay, negative 6, let's say it equaled negative 6. If x was truly negative 6, or if x could be anything less than 5, if I put negative 6 in here, I'd get negative 6, which comes out to positive 6. And 6 is not less than 5. So I can't just say x can be anything less than 5, because eventually we get something that's larger than 5. So my second case says, okay, we're going to take the negative of the thing inside and set it like this, okay? But in order to fix this, I don't want x, or negative x, I want just regular positive x. I'd have to multiply both sides by negative 1. And remember, when we do that, we get x, but then my sign flips. So x is greater than negative 5. Now there is a shortcut here that we're going to take. And what we end up finding out is that x can be anything less than 5, or anything greater than negative 5, and we get this statement right here. And if we were to graph that, that's where we would be. Now you'll find if you go anything less than 5, it's not going to work out, just like negative 6 didn't. Or if you go anything greater than 5, it's not going to work out. So rather than take this really long process, it's really not that long, but rather than do it this way, just set up case 2 right away like this. Okay, take the inside, flip your sign right away, and set it equal, or put the negative version right there. And what that's going to look like with these types of problems is case 1 we can set up right away. I know that x plus 4 is less than or equal to 2. So this is case 1. And then we'll set up case 2, which I could put as, here, let's use red for case 2. X plus 4, I'm going to flip my sign right away, okay, change the direction of that sign, and put the negative version right there. And then we just solve this. So, subtract 4. Now we're just solving two different versions here, and we get x is less than or equal to negative 2. So that's part of my solution. And then over here, same thing, subtract 4 on both sides. I get x is greater than or equal to negative 6. Now we're going to find out by the graph whether or not this is an or statement or an and statement. So x is, let's find negative 2, put that like right here, and negative 6. Okay. So x is less than or equal to negative 2, which goes this way. And then here we see that x is greater than or equal to negative 6. So this is an and statement, or something that we could rewrite as a sandwich. Negative 6, x, negative 2. Alright, x is greater than or equal to negative 6, but also less than or equal to negative 2. Alright, and that's how we would do that. So it's basically the same thing we've done. I'm going to say that all the time. with a little bit of a flare on it, okay? Now you can try any number between -6 and -2 and it should work, okay? So let's try a real simple one like -3. If -3 is a part of my solution because it falls in here, -3 plus 4 is 1, and the absolute value of 1 is 1, which does happen to be less than or equal to 2. Now, 0, you'll notice, is not a part of our solution. That's somewhere over here. If I were to put 0 in, this shouldn't make sense. So if I put 0 in for x, 0 plus 4 is 4, and the absolute value of 4 is 4, but 4 is not less than or equal to 2, and it shouldn't make sense because it doesn't, well, it's not part of our solution. So that's just a quick thing you can do to check that. I'm not going to go through the whole thing on the second one here, but I'll show you how to set it up. Before you get into your case 1 and case 2, you want to make sure that the absolute value is all by itself. So I would subtract 5 right away. And now I can get into my case 1. Case 1 would be x minus 8, keep everything the same. And then my case 2, x minus 8, flip my sign, and make that negative, and I would go ahead and solve those two, okay? We'll talk more about this tomorrow, but a lot of this is all about the setup, okay? We'll go from there. So we'll go over the rest of that tomorrow and a couple other things. All right.